Nicole, would you mind saying something now?
Is it still? Oh, I can hear myself back. It takes a while. We do.
Nicole, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I think I somehow figured that out, and I'm not a technical guy, so there we go.
Nice, great job, fantastic.
All right. So Nicole, you have the agenda in front of you. Hopefully, we're going to have a presentation up pretty soon. You could go through that on your end. And, and then we'll be doing votes throughout the meeting. Instead of a voice vote like we used to do, I'm going to be calling every one of the commissioners' names to do what's called a roll call vote. So it's an additional step to get used to, but we'll get through that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, especially if there's nobody here for public comment, we can hop right in if you like. Let me just see. 30 seconds. We are ready when you are.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is the February regular meeting for the Santa Monica Disabilities Commission. I will start with attendance. Commissioner Antonini is not here. Vice Chair Rockfeld. Present. Commissioner Clark. Commissioner Cosmea Dodge is not here. Commissioner Wen?
Here.
Awesome. Commissioner Azaria? Yes. Commissioner Gordon is not yet here. Commissioner Royale? Present. And Commissioner Adiemi is not here yet. So we have a quorum. Thanks everybody again for being here. I'm going to do a little bit of agenda management and move things around a little bit and start with our special agenda items. And I'm going to start with 3A, our presentation from Cal Able, Madeline Handy, Strategic Partnership Coordinator, Cal Able. Thank you so much. This is a great program and we're looking forward to hearing about it.
Okay, yes. Great, so thank you so much for having me. I actually wanted to start the presentation with a video of one of our newest ambassadors.
When I was growing up, my mom told me that my first full sentence was, "I do it myself," which explains a lot. I was an actor, singer, dancer when in Southern California, when I woke up paralyzed one day. Just woke up, oops, couldn't move or feel anything from the waist down. At the time, in 1996, they had no idea what it was. Well, it turns out to be this autoimmune thing called transverse myelitis, which hits like 1 in 2 million people. Yeah, trying to figure out how come it chose me was just a lost cause, so I didn't. That started my journey. First heard about Cal Able on a Triumph support group. Somebody on the Zoom support group said, hey, you guys ever heard of an ABLE account? So I went to the Cal Able website, and the first thing that struck me was I couldn't have a Cal Able account because I wasn't disabled before the age of 26. But now, as of January 1st, 2026, that becomes before you were 46 years old. So I'm going hooray, because I was 36 when I got paralyzed. So now I can have an ABLE account. I can put my earnings into that account and take money out for almost everything I do. All the medical expenses, even my mortgage, anything that sustains me and enables my quality of life, you can use the money in your Cal Able account to pay for that, and it doesn't count against the benefits that you may be getting. I can't wait till I'm finally part of the Cal Able family. It is. It's going to be great. It's going to change my life for sure. We are Cal Able.
Okay, so that was Julianne, and she is one of our 2026 Cal Able ambassadors. And so as you can tell from that video, 2026 is a big year for Cal Able. We have a bunch of updates, including the expansion of our eligibility, which I will be talking about. And then we do have our new class of ambassadors, so I definitely encourage you to check out their videos. We're going to be releasing them this month and March, and they have some really great stories, so we're super excited about that. But starting off, what exactly is Cal Able? So we are a financial program for the disability community. And so the ABLE part of Cal Able stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. And this is part of the Federal ABLE Act that was signed in 2014 that allowed states to open these tax-advantaged savings and investment accounts for people with disabilities. And so Cal Able is California's version of the ABLE Act. And really, the key benefit of a Cal Able account is that it allows people to save for the future while allowing them to still receive public disability benefits like SSI and Medi-Cal. So just a few quick facts about Cal Able. So Cal Able is administered by the state of California through the California ABLE Act Board, which is chaired by the state treasurer. And then the Cal Able community currently has more than 250 million in assets under management, and more than 17,000 people have open Cal Able accounts and are saving and investing with us. And so we're really proud of this growth. Cal Able opened in 2018, so we are fairly new, but we want to grow the program even more because there are a lot of people who are eligible about the program who just aren't aware that it exists, especially now because the program is eligible to anybody whose disability began before age 46. So as Julianne said in her video, previously it was before age 26, and now that it's up to age 46, there are millions more of Californians and Americans who are eligible for Cal Able and ABLE programs. And so we really want to get the word out to let them know that they are now eligible to begin saving in these accounts. So why exactly have a Cal Able account? Well, for one, living with a disability can be expensive. So people with disabilities might have additional costs like healthcare costs, assistive technology, accessible housing, and these are costs that somebody without a disability may not have. And so having a disability can lead to these additional expenses, which can just be more expensive. And so a Cal Able account is a way to save for these additional needs. Another reason to have a Cal Able account is because you want to save money and protect eligibility for benefits, which I will be diving into on the next slide. And then because you want to support a lifetime of opportunity and independence. So these accounts are also investment accounts as well. They are tax-advantaged investing vehicles. And so this is really a way for people with disabilities to be able to save and invest for the future. So CalAble protects benefits. So you might be aware that if you are receiving SSI, you can't have more than $2,000 in a bank account or in your savings. Otherwise, your benefits will be at risk of being suspended. And so $2,000, that is not a lot of money. You really can't save for anything with that. You can't save for emergencies. You can't save for the future. You can't save for your needs. So it's just very, very limiting. So the great thing about a CalAble account is that you can save up to $100,000 directly in the CalAble account without impacting your ability to receive benefits like SSI. So a CalAble account can be a life-changing experience for many people with disabilities. And so SSI, that's really one of the more limiting benefits programs, but CalAble money can also be saved without impacting other benefits like CalFresh, Housing Choice Vouchers or Section 8, and Medi-Cal as well. And Medi-Cal just recently reimposed an asset limit of $130,000. And so the entire amount of money in CalAble is exempt from that asset limit. And then in most cases, CalAble is also exempt from Medi-Cal estate recovery as well. So you can save money, and then when the person passes away, the money can go to their loved ones. And so here's a quote from one of our previous ambassadors, Raymond, and he said, "Without CalAble, I feel like I would be constantly looking over my shoulder, checking my bank balance, making sure it was under $2,000. With CalAble, I've been able to achieve financial peace of mind." And that's something we hear all the time with CalAble accounts, is that instead of having to spend down to make sure that you're below that $2,000 asset limit, instead you can set aside any additional money you may have into the CalAble account and actually save for the future, for things that you actually need. And so just having that resource really relieves a lot of stress for people. And so CalAble, it's great that it's a savings vehicle, but it's not just savings. It's also a tax-free investment account. So even if somebody's not receiving benefits, there's still a great reason to open a CalAble account. And that's because the money grows tax-free, and then it can also be taken out at any time without taxes or penalties for items and experiences that improve quality of life. So it's a really great way for people to invest for the future. And so Otto said, "I'm still very young. That is the perfect time to start investing. CalAble has given me that tool to be able to invest in my future just like everyone else." And so CalAble accounts, they really are an opportunity to help build equity and really allow people with disabilities the same opportunities as those who don't have disabilities. So CalAble helps maximize independence for life. So who exactly is eligible for CalAble? Well, the great news is that now you are eligible for a CalAble account if you have a disability that began before age 46. And so you can actually open the account at any age. It's just the onset of your disability has to have begun before age 46. And we go off Social Security's definition of disability. So if you are receiving supplemental security income, SSI, or Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, Social Security already did all the work to verify, so you are automatically eligible to open a CalAble account. But you don't need to be receiving benefits. You can actually just go ahead and self-certify that you have a disability and open an account. And more information about eligibility can be found on our website. So how much can you contribute to a CalAble account? So there are a couple different limits to keep in mind. So the first is our annual contribution limit. So in 2026, you can contribute up to $20,000 into your CalAble account for this year. And so that can be from the person with the disability themselves, or it can also be from family and friends as well. And then for those who are receiving SSI, they'll want to keep this $100,000 limit in mind. So if you're receiving SSI, your account balance, that means the contributions and then also the investment growth, the account must remain below $100,000. So it's similar to that $2,000 asset limit where you can't go above it, you'd have to spend down if you get close, except $100,000 is a whole lot more than $2,000. And then for those who are not receiving SSI, they can save up to $529,000 in the CalAble account. And then at that point, they wouldn't be able to contribute any additional money, but the account can still continue to grow through the investments. Now, there are some people who are able to save even above the $20,000 annual contribution limit. And so that's with Able to Work. And so for those who are working and not contributing to an employer-based retirement plan in this calendar year, they are able to contribute an additional $15,650 into their CalAble account. Now, that does have to come from their income, but it really allows people who are working to save even more money. So they could save a potential total of $35,650 this year and really work towards those total limits a lot faster. And so Able to Work, this is a great program for somebody who's maybe working part-time and isn't eligible to receive an employer-based retirement plan. So with this Able to Work program contributions, they'd be able to save for retirement. And then family and friends are also able to contribute to the CalAble account through gifting. And so when somebody has a CalAble account, they're able to set up a gifting page, and this creates a link that they can send out to family and friends, and then family and friends can contribute directly to the CalAble account. Now, the great thing about this is that gift contributions do not count as income. So this means they also do not impact benefits. So if somebody wants to help with rent, for example, or give a gift for a birthday, they can contribute into the CalAble account, and so they can help without hurting. Because a lot of the times if you give somebody money, then benefits will reduce how much somebody receives. So this is a really great way for friends and family to be able to help. And so here's a quote from Hector. And so he said, "For my birthday, I asked folks, this is my Able account, you can make a donation. And I ended up getting enough money to put down a down payment for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom mobile home." So you can see really the power of gifting here. And then CalAble is also an investment account. So we have 8 professionally managed investment portfolios. We know that for a lot of our savers, they may be first-time savers or first-time investors. So we try to make this process as easy as possible. So we have 8 professionally managed investment portfolios that you'll put your money into. You can select one or multiple of these, and they provide a range of savings goals. So for example, we have an FDIC insured portfolio. That's most similar to a savings account. That's where we see a lot of our savers putting their money into because they might be using their account for more day-to-day expenses. They receive SSI, so they just want a place to hold their money safely. So the FDIC insured portfolio is a great place for people to get started. And we do have 7 investment portfolios, which are weighted by risk, and more information can be found on our website about those. But we highly encourage people to look at the investment options because this is a great opportunity. It is tax-free growth, so we definitely want to encourage people to take a look at those options. And then we do have fees, but they are competitive across the Able industry. We have a $30 annual fee per year, and then a small percentage-based fees on the invested assets. But it is important to remember that it is an investment account, so the goal is that people are going to be continuously contributing so that the investment growth will offset those fees. And then you don't pay any state or federal taxes on any earnings in the account when using the account for expenses that improve quality of life. So what can you spend the money on exactly? So basically, a qualified disability expense, that's the term, it's any expense that helps the account holder maintain or improve their health, independence, or quality of life. So that's the definition of a qualified disability expense. It is super broad, and that is intentional because these accounts are designed so that people can use the money in the way that best suits them. And you can use the money at any time without taxes or penalties, as long as it improves your quality of life in some way. So on this slide, I have example categories of what those expenses could be, but this is not an exhaustive list by any means. These are just examples to help get you thinking about what you could spend the money on. So education. So for example, this could be tuition, it could be books for school, it could be technology, a laptop. So it's super, super broad. Housing, so that could be rent payments, utilities, a mortgage. I will just mention really quickly that for SSI recipients specifically, housing expenses must be withdrawn and spent within the same calendar month. And that is a very specific rule set by Social Security for SSI recipients and housing expenses specifically. Other examples would be transportation and travel, employment training and support, basic needs including food, recreation and entertainment, health prevention and support services, assistive technology and related services, legal fees, financial management and administrative services, funeral and burial expenses, and more. And I think that last category, and more, is the really exciting one, because basically as long as it improves quality of life in some way, it is a qualified expense. And account holders do not need to report to CalAble what they're spending their money on, but we do recommend keeping a record just in case anyone were to ask, like Social Security if you receive SSI, or potentially the IRS if somebody was to be audited, which we haven't seen happen, but we just want people to be aware. So here's an example from Ashley. And so she is an authorized legal representative on her son Dylan's account. And so she said, we sold our old car and used the money in our CalAble account to have extra money to buy a bigger, nicer car, and it fits his wheelchair amazingly. So I like this example because it highlights that while the money in CalAble does have to be used for the benefit of the account holder, the beneficiary, it doesn't have to be used for their sole benefit. So in this example, Dylan, he is 10 years old. He's not the one who bought the car. He's also not the one who is driving the car. But because Ashley uses the car to get Dylan to school and his activities, purchasing that vehicle was a qualified expense. So it's a really great way for Ashley to be able to use money in the account to support Dylan's growth. Now, how do you actually get the money out to spend? So the easiest way, you can link a bank account and transfer money to that bank account. You can also have a check mailed to you, but we highly encourage people to get a prepaid card. So you can order a prepaid card in your CalAble account, and then you can load funds onto the prepaid card at any time to spend anywhere Visa is accepted. And so one exciting update for 2026 is that we have enabled cash access. So now account holders can go and turn on cash access and go to ATMs and get cash back at point of service transactions. So this is a really exciting feature. Our board looked at it. We asked account holders about this, and we made this change in order to enable people to be able to get cash for any cash purchases or even for emergencies as well. And then the prepaid card is a great way to customize and track spending. So like I mentioned, we recommend keeping a record of expenses. Well, the prepaid card will do that for you all online. And you can even go into the prepaid card portal and you can make notes and even upload copies of your receipts. You can also get 2 separate prepaid cards, so one for the beneficiary and then one for the authorized legal representative. So the prepaid card can be a great tool for somebody who's learning how to budget. So the authorized legal representative could load $50, $100 a month onto that prepaid card, and then the beneficiary can practice spending without having access to all the money in the account. So it's a great transition tool, for example. And then there are no monthly fees on the prepaid card. So that was sort of just a general everything you need to know about CalAble. But I do have some program updates for 2026. In case you were already familiar with CalAble, we have had some changes. So first, which I mentioned, we have expanded our eligibility. So now CalAble and ABLE programs in general are open to individuals whose disability began before age 46. So we're super excited about that. We're particularly excited about disabled veterans being eligible for the program, those who may have mental illness, whose onset of disability may be harder to diagnose. So we're very, very excited. Another update is 529 rollovers. So you were able to do that before, where you roll over a college savings account to CalAble, but there was a sunset date on that. So we are excited because that has been permanently extended. Able to work, so that contribution limit did increase from last year to $15,650 for working individuals. We have lower investment fees, so we are continuously working to reduce our fees as the program grows. So hopefully we'll see even lower fees in the future. The federal savers credit, so account owners may qualify for the federal savers credit, so we definitely want people, we recommend, if you can, to file a tax return, see if you're eligible for the savers credit. And we're actually going to be doing a webinar this month about tax time tips. So definitely recommend people check that out. We have some new features. So we do have a mobile app available on Apple and Android devices. If you just look up CalAble, it'll be there. So that's a great way for people to access their CalAble account on the go. We also have the ability for authorized users. So before, you could only have an authorized legal representative on the account, and it would just be one username and password. And so that was really difficult for parents because they couldn't have, both of them couldn't have access unless they were sharing the same username and password. But now we have the ability for authorized users. So you can go ahead and add an authorized user to the account. There's different tiers as well. So you can give people different levels of access. So this is a great way for co-parents, or if somebody has a financial advisor and they'd like them to be able to look at the account and provide advice, they can add them as an authorized user. We also have language translations. So this is something that we have been working very hard on, and the account portal and application is now available in 20 different languages, and hopefully more to come in the future. And then we also have a chat feature available on our website. So if you go to the CalAble website, in the bottom right corner, there will be a button that says Help Chat. And this is a tool where you can ask your questions and get answers quickly. So CalAble enrollment. So how do you get started with CalAble? So everything is done at our website, which is calable.ca.gov. The open an account button is right there in yellow, but the CalAble website is also just a great resource with lots of information on eligibility, on investments. So I definitely recommend checking it out. What should people be aware of before opening a CalAble account? Well, first, the account can be opened by the person with the disability or by an authorized legal representative. So an authorized legal representative, this is somebody who would open the account on the person with the disability's behalf. It can be a parent, a grandparent, a sibling, a spouse, a rep payee, a conservator or legal guardian, or even somebody selected by the person with the disability. In the case that somebody is under 18, they would have to have an authorized legal representative open the account for them. But if they turn 18 and then they are transitioning to adulthood and feel capable of managing their money at a certain point, then the account can actually be transferred to them and they can manage it themselves because the account can be opened directly by the person with the disability, which is something that CalAble accounts and ABLE accounts in general just really changed the game. Before, there really wasn't an option. There was special needs trust, but those aren't in the person with the disability's name. They don't manage those themselves. So CalAble accounts really allow a level of independence that just wasn't available before. And then, as I mentioned, authorized users can also be added to help monitor or manage the account. And then the person with the disability is always the ABLE account owner and beneficiary of the funds, even if an authorized legal representative is opening the account for them. And then each person can only have one ABLE account. So I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation that the ABLE Act allowed states to open these programs. So there are 46 different programs across the country. CalAble is open nationally, so you can live anywhere in the United States and have a CalAble account. But we do recommend people look at their home state's ABLE program first, just because there may be some additional benefits for in-state residents. So, for example, here in California, we passed a law that prevents Medi-Cal from recovering against a CalAble account when somebody passes away. But you can only have one ABLE account. So if somebody has an ABLE account in another state and they want to have a CalAble account, they'd have to roll it over. And then it takes just about 15 minutes to get started. So for opening a CalAble account, you'll just enter some information about the beneficiary and the authorized legal representative if there is one. So that's name, date of birth, social security number, or tax identification number, and then residency address. And then you'll also enter the eligibility information. So you'll check if you receive SSI, SSDI, or if you're self-certifying. And then you'll select the diagnosis code. Now, some people get really stressed about the diagnosis code. This is just information that we're required to collect, and it was put in there by federal law, and so they don't make a whole lot of sense. So we just tell people to select the code that best fits. And there are examples of the disabilities underneath those codes, but of course, if you don't think that one fits, there is an other category as well. And then there is a section to put a successor designated beneficiary. So when somebody passes away, if they have an ABLE eligible sibling, so a sibling who also has a disability, they can set them up as a successor designated beneficiary to automatically inherit the account. And so now that's not the case for a lot of people, so that is an optional section. Next, you'll set up communication preferences, and then you'll do the account setup. So you do have to make an initial contribution of at least $25, and you'll select your investment options then. And then, of course, when you add additional money to the account, you could always select new investment options as well. Now, CalAble does have the opportunity for group enrollment. So organizations can actually become organizational authorized legal representatives, and they can open accounts for their clients and manage multiple CalAble accounts underneath one portal. And this is a fairly new feature as well, but we are trying to get the word out to rep payee organizations, to regional centers, that this is a program that is available to them. And then to contact us, if you have any questions, you can reach out to our CalAble Customer Service Center at 833-CalAble. It's also 833-225-2253, and they're open between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific. So how can you help spread the word? So CalAble, we do have some outreach goals, and I'm really here because I would like your help to help spread the word about CalAble. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we're very proud of the progress that CalAble has made, but there are a lot of people who are eligible for this program and could be benefiting from it who just aren't aware that it's there. So we really want to help expand group enrollment. So if you know any organizations that could be opening CalAble accounts for their clients, we would love to reach out to them and let them know. We're also working more on targeted campaigns. So for example, parents and schools, we'd like to get the information to parents as soon as possible because they could be opening accounts for their children, saving for their future. And so, for example, a lot of parents will open 529 college savings accounts, which are great, and we definitely encourage people as well. They're our sister program. But for somebody who has a disability, they may not go to college in the future. So a CalAble account can be a great way for parents to save for their child's future. The money in CalAble can still be used for education expenses if the child goes to college in the future, but if they don't, it can also be used for other things like healthcare expenses, cost of living, travel. So this is a really great resource for parents. We're also looking to let employers and employees know, especially with the ABLE age adjustment, so the expanded eligibility. A lot more people who are working are going to be eligible for CalAble accounts. And then veterans as well. We do really want to get the word out to them. And then also just organizations in Los Angeles. CalAble, we're a small team. We are 4 staff members. We're going to be hiring somebody on next month, so we'll be up to 5. But we are based in Sacramento. So we know the organizations in Sacramento pretty well, but we know there are a lot of organizations in LA. And so we would really like your help to learn about these organizations and get the word out. It's a quick trip from Sacramento to LA, 1 hour. So we definitely would be happy to fly down and give a presentation, or virtually as well. So we do have some resources. So like I mentioned, we have that help chat feature. We also have a YouTube channel where we record our past webinars. So I mentioned that we have the Tax Time Tips webinar coming up that will be recorded on our YouTube channel. We also have our ambassador videos as well. So highly encourage you to check those out. We have forums on our website, and then we're also on social media. So Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then finally, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but essentially CalAble is an investment program. And so with that, there does come some inherent risks with investing. And so we do want people to be aware of these risks before opening a CalAble account. So we do encourage everybody to take a look at our disclosure and read that so they can be aware of those risks, and then also the benefits of CalAble. With investing in financial programs, there's a lot of information, so we want people to be aware. But of course, if they have a specific question and don't feel like reading the 80-page document, our customer service center would be more than happy to answer a question. And so thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'd be happy to take any questions. And I did bring some materials as well, some brochures. So if you'd like some, I can share them.
Yes, we'd love to do some questions, Commissioner Clark.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this presentation. I have a few questions. I do Social Security disability law, so this is very helpful information. First, just wanted to know if I can email this slideshow out to clients. I know it's part of a public record now being in this meeting, but can I email this slideshow
Yes.
to people? Okay.
Yes, of course.
For that. And then, so I'll get an emailed version. And then is the contributions, the $20,000 or the 15,000 some odd dollars, is that a way for SSDI recipients and SSI recipients to go beyond the work limitations, like the SGA or the dollar for dollar reductions in SSI beyond $20? Or is it something different?
Yeah, so great question. So yes, with benefits, there are sort of two limitations. There's income and then assets. And so CalAble helps with the assets side, but we don't help with the income side. So they would still be subject to the income limitations, but a CalAble account would allow them to save that money that they earn without impacting the $2,000 limit for SSI.
Okay, because I believe this year SGA for SSDI recipients is around $1,690. So this account doesn't allow them to go beyond, like, earn beyond that to contribute the 20,000. It's just a way to prevent like taxation or something like that.
So it allows them to be able to save without impacting the benefits limits. So for like Medi-Cal and
I see.
yes.
Okay.
And then the money grows tax-free. And so that growth is not counted as income.
Got it. Okay. And so, and then what about for the SSI, you know, for SSI recipients, every dollar they earn in work is deducted from their benefit amount beyond $20. So can SSI recipients work and contribute the 20,000?
So unfortunately, no, I wish they could. And maybe that'll be legislation in the future. CalAble sort of helps with one piece of the puzzle, but it doesn't help with all of the different pieces. So
do you know if they could put their back pay, like right now, when the SSI recipients get back pay, they essentially have to spend it all beyond the $2,000. Can they roll their back pay into this and save it longer than a year or 2 years?
Yes. Okay. So that would be a great way for them to be able to save that back pay.
Okay. Yes. That's all I had. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Rosario, then question.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. I am connected to one of the regional center, and I'm going to talk to them. But so for example, I've seen different families where the minors are on special needs, And so the parents can definitely, or the legal authorized representative can apply for this. And so my question is that once they, so what happens is when they're on SSI and they start getting in-home support services, obviously to take care of the child, and if the others, like if one of the spouses is working, obviously not a lot, but a little bit, their Medi-Cal eligibility kind of gets affected by it. So does anyone ask that question? Like if the income goes in CalAble, or can they, like if one of the parent is working a little bit, in addition to taking care of the minor, can they put that money in CalAble and still be eligible for Medi-Cal?
So unfortunately, a CalAble account doesn't allow you to shelter income, so it doesn't turn income into non-income. So that would still be an issue.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You can, okay, so if you have the CalAble, you could go
Above that,
higher, yeah.
and then you don't, and then $2,000 doesn't affect. I mean, so they can put more than $2,000 in this account and still be eligible for the benefits. So.
Yes, and if family and friends wanted to gift money, they could do so directly into the CalAble account without it counting as income for benefits.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair Rockfeld, Commissioner Royale, then Commissioner Clark, and then me.
So, so the $2,000 limit, as we know, like, I mean, in my son receives benefits, and by the 31st, you have to make sure it's less than $2,000, and one time we didn't, and we got dinged, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But in this situation, if the contributions are by the individual themselves, really, it's only going to be on that money. It's going to be a slow growth situation, right? Because you can't go over that $2,000 at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Are most of the contributions for CalAble by friends and family then enabled so that it can grow there? Is that what's happening in reality?
So it sort of depends. So you don't have to be receiving benefits to be on CalAble. So some people are not on benefits, they're working, and so they are contributing into the CalAble account through their own money. But yes, gift contributions are a large source as well. There is the ability to do direct deposit of Social Security. So we have seen that people will direct deposit their SSI and then they'll use the CalAble account to spend the money that way. So they're kind of using the CalAble account for more the day-to-day expenses. So more as a short-term savings vehicle.
I'm just, if someone's getting $800 a month and then, they put in a couple hundred. So it's great, but it's a slow growth unless you have some friends to get you up to larger numbers, it seems. You had an example here where a gentleman bought a mobile home with the money.
Mm-hmm.
Was that person subject to the $2,000 limit on assets?
So Hector, I am not 100% sure which benefits programs he was receiving. I do know that with his situation, he was working, and so he actually was on benefits originally and then went off benefits. And then during the 2008 housing crisis, he ended up losing his home, losing his income. And so he was homeless for a little bit at the time. And so then through the gifting portal, he was able to get enough money for that down payment.
So I guess the question is can the CalAble hold a mortgage of some level on an item? Who is receiving benefits? Let's suppose someone actually found a home for $70,000 in California. So I'm just taking that as an example. Can that mortgage somehow be held? Like, okay, we also have a special needs trust. So I understand what goes on with special needs trust. Okay, that's great. It's it has its own pros and cons. But in this case, if someone had a $50,000 mobile home, can that mortgage be held in the CalAble account?
Oh, no, it wouldn't be, because CalAble account, it would be held in our investment portfolios, the money, so you couldn't have like,
Right, so in the case of Hector, he saved money, and then so he pulled the money out, he bought it, but that's assuming
Yes.
then, in that case, he could have an asset greater than $2,000, a net worth greater than $2,000 on his own.
yes.
Thank you.
But I do believe with SSI, you can own a home as long as you're living in it. And it doesn't count towards the $2,000 asset limit.
Right, I'm not sure if, it's probably SSDI that my son receives, I mean, but I always get it confused. So he has a flat $2,000 limit on, if you go over that, then you don't receive any future benefits. So that would be SSI or SSDI?
I believe with SSI, you can have home and a car and funeral and burial expenses, but
SSDI, no.
SSDI does not have an asset limit. They have income limits.
You can be a billionaire and get SSDI.
But so SSI though, you,
Well, I think she said you can own the home and the car and then the 2,000, but now it's 100,000 with.
well,
this.
if you sort of intertwine here.
Right.
So you can own a $5 million home and then only get $2,000 a month. It's so strange, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the SSI, yeah, it's weird.
And when was the limits raised for SSI? Like 20, 30 years ago, something like
I
that?
believe it was set in like the 80s.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you very much for your presentation. I have several questions, and one of them is regarding, like, you pointed out that each person can only have one ABLE account. So what if, for example, a single mother have two children with disability? So how that's going to work? Because she's the only adult who can care of those two children. So how she will be able to open like two accounts?
Yes. So the ABLE account owners are the people with the disabilities, the person with the disability. So she would have two ABLE, she'd be managing two ABLE accounts, but it would be one for each of her children.
So that you can open for minors.
Yes. Yes, and we now have the ability where you can use the same username and password to manage both accounts at the same time.
Basically, it's just kind of like a platform you're providing, right? Where people can have their funds. How it's prevented from any sort of fraud activities?
Yes, so we do have security prevention. So, for example, when we have two-factor authentication, when people are opening the account, they do have to go through the security process to verify their identity. And so there is a security process, and if there's any fraud, it will be flagged by our system.
So, also you mentioned that you can self-certify as having a disability. To me, it sounds like anybody can apply to have that account. So, because I mean, like people can say truth or can lie, and the application. How you preventing all this false information provided to you? How you monitor this? How you can like verify that the person who self-certified as a disabled actually disabled?
Right. So it is a self-certification process, but you are certifying under penalty of perjury. So
which is not always enforceable.
yes. So the people who would be really doing this would be the IRS if somebody were to be audited.
Yeah.
All right, thanks again for coming so much. I think this is so timely with the expansion to 46 and with the reinstatement of the asset limits for Medi-Cal. It's a huge concern in our community. And just for our folks from the city watching this, I was a social worker in the city, and people getting back pay and not having anywhere for their money to go happened multiple times. So I wish we would have had this when I was doing that here, but I hope our providers in the city, if they have someone under 46 who gets that back pay, this is an option. Like I remember having to buy laptops and iPods and just this stuff just to get under 2,000. So I wish this was in place. So just we want to be helpful in getting the word out, and maybe our volunteering our staff liaison, if you have some connections with like someone that to get the word out, that would be greatly appreciated, because I want more people to know about this. And I've seen you in like a lot of with our social workers and with the county and at the Abilities Expo. So just appreciate you getting the word out, and we want to be helpful in that. So that's it. I know a lot of people under 46 are excited to be a part of this, and they also, if you have some more of those promo codes to get as an incentive, we'd love those too. So I'm going to pass it to Commissioner Clark.
Just a few more questions. So is collection of overpayments in SSI or SSDI, are the ABLE accounts shielded from the agency collecting overpayments?
That's a great question. They are protected from like monetary settlements in like legal situations, but for SSI, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay. And the $20,000 like contribution limit, is that per January 1st to December 31st, or just the start of whenever you like deposit that first dollar?
So it's for the calendar year, from January 1st to December 31st, and then it will reset at the start of the new year.
And for SSI recipients, I mean, I have a lot of situations with my clients who have like a car accident settlement, or like sometime this hasn't happened yet, but like an inheritance or a lottery win or something. Those can go into the CalAble?
Yeah, so up to the annual contribution limit. So for larger amounts of money, like an inheritance or a settlement, in that case, we would recommend a special needs trust.
Okay.
And CalAble accounts and special needs trusts can work really well together. Usually what we see is people will have the special needs trust for the larger amount of money, and then they'll transfer to the CalAble account for the more flexible spending.
Okay. And can someone under the age of 18 use the card? Like if the parent gave the cash card to like a 15-year-old and set a limit, are they allowed to have?
Yes, they are. So yeah, it's a great transition tool for somebody who's like learning how to spend money. And then the parent can set spending parameters on it as well. They can set where the card will and won't work, and they can get notifications as well.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. This just sounds tremendous. I was just curious on these pages. They're not numbered. I was just wondering what these symbols were. Yeah, and then the one with the guy who bought a mobile home.
Oh, in the background.
Oh, did it? Yeah, I just didn't know what these symbols were.
Oh, let me see. Let me go back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was some code or something. Well, that's just tremendous. And you're with the state of California, right?
Yes, the state of California. I work for the state treasurer's office.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
I have one quick question, and then Commissioner Zara. So just for clarification for folks watching this, so I put in 5,000 the beginning of this year. In 3 years, it's worth 10 because my investments do great. and I take out 6,000, no taxes on the money I take out. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, as long as you're using the money for something that improves quality of life.
Okay, so one of those
Super
things
broad.
you mentioned on that slide. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Azaria?
If it's available in other states?
Yes. So CalAble, we are open nationally, so you can live in any state and have a CalAble account. But we do recommend looking at your home state's ABLE program first, because they might have additional benefits. So a lot of states have passed laws that prevent Medicaid recovery. So that's the case here in California. Other states have done that as well. There's also maybe some additional tax benefits in other states. And so 46 states have ABLE programs. You can compare the ABLE programs at several different websites. So there's ABLE Today, and then there's the ABLE National Resource Center. So you can go there to look them up.
Oh, thank you.
Commissioner Clark and then Vice Chair.
Sometimes the agency, Social Security, finds that people with disabilities are no longer disabled. They call them the continuing disability reviews. So if somebody has an ABLE account, and the agency finds that they're no longer disabled, what happens then? Do they just self-certify, or do they have to like cash out their account?
Right. So it would depend. So if Social Security is saying you're no longer eligible for SSI or SSDI, but you still have a disability, it's just not to what they're certifying, then yes, you would be through the self-certification process because you still do have that disability. It's just Social Security is saying it's, it doesn't qualify for benefits.
Oh, sorry. No, you go.
Yes. Now, if the disability is, let's say, cured, so you no longer have the disability, the account would remain open for the year. And so then at that point, you would need to close it. And there may be some tax implications if you're not using the account for any qualified expenses. So perhaps you may no longer have the disability, but you may have expenses that were related to the disability that you could use the money for. But if you take the money out then there would be just any taxes on the growth.
Does Social Security send some kind of notice to the state of California saying these people are no longer receiving disability?
No. So we tell Social Security who has the CalAble accounts, but they don't send information to us.
Okay. All right.
Vice Chair.
So we've been talking a lot about the SSI or SSDI recipients. The other group, the limit of 529,000, that's open to anybody? Or is there some requirement?
So let's say somebody's on SSI, and they go beyond the $100,000 limit. At that point, their benefits may be suspended, but they could, if they wanted to, they could just keep saving.
But there was another group that had a limit of 529,000.
Yes, so that's everyone with a CalAble account.
Right. So who's eligible for a CalAble account that could technically have $529,000 in their account?
So to be eligible for a CalAble account, you just have to have a disability that began before age 46. So we don't look at income, we don't look at work status, we don't look at benefit status. The only requirement is that you have a disability that began before age 46. So for example, our executive director at CalAble, Thomas Martin, he is an individual with autism. And so he is working, he's making as good of money you can at the state. And then he has a CalAble account. And so he's able to save up to the $529,000 limit.
Right. To Commissioner Royale, if it's self-certified, then people can get in there. It functions as a super Roth IRA in that situation, right? Because a Roth IRA, I was just looking, as a limit of, 7,500, or if you're over 50, whatever, 15,000. It's a more open-ended, provided you self-certify. It's just a kind of a opening there, a gap in
I think the piece maybe we didn't touch is that there's a form you get signed by your doctor as part of the self-certification process. Do I understand that correctly?
So we recommend that you have that form signed, but it's not required to submit to CalAble. The main thing is that you need a diagnosis from a certified physician for your disability.
And that certification from the doctor helps you fill out that form to put you in the right category in the onboarding process, and you have it in case there is an audit of some sort that gives you some sort of.
Exactly, yes.
that's
But yes,
the piece.
it is
It's not
similar to
just-
Roth IRA.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Commissioner Azaria?
What if someone became disabled after the age of 46?
Yes. So if you became disabled after the age of 46, unfortunately, you would not qualify for a CalAble account. But if you're older than 46 and your disability began prior to age 46, you would be eligible. But for like the elderly community, unfortunately, if they have a disability that began after age 46, unfortunately, at this point in time, they would not be eligible for a CalAble account. But who knows? In the future, you know, we want to advocate, and maybe one day that limit will be taken off entirely.
But you have to have SSI or SSDI.
No, you do not. So you just have to have a disability that began before age 46, and that is it for eligibility.
Commissioner Royale?
Yes, just a second, I'm making some notes. SSI. To be qualified for SSI, you must be U.S. citizen. Yes.
For 7 years. You have 7 years. They'll kick you off.
For SSI?
Yeah. They don't enforce
To apply for,
it strictly.
okay, so, I mean, I know, okay, let me clarify. I know stories when people with any status getting SSI right now, so I know that. But if we follow law, so to be qualified for SSI benefits, you must be U.S. citizen, right?
I'm not a Social Security expert,
So if, for example, an immigrant, legal immigrant, obtained green card, became disabled, but since that person not U.S. citizen yet, that person cannot receive SSI. How? And for example, that person like became disabled before age of 46, but start being U.S. citizen and start receiving SSI after age 46. Is that person allowed to apply for?
yes. So U.S. citizenship is not a requirement, but you would need to have a Social Security number or a tax identification number.
Okay, so another question is, I'm aware that a lot of verification for DMV and, for example, doctor's signature letter, you can obtain online. I don't know is that legal or not, but it's open. And people who know, they're using it. So how your program can stop that type of fraud? Is there any way? Because I don't want to be on the record, but I can share with you guys the sources where you can actually online verify yourself as a disabled person and obtain valid placard through DMV. So I don't want that be on the record for people to use it. So, but I can show you. So how you guys can prevent any sort of things like this happens?
So we have several different security measures during the application process. We have, during the initial process, there's questions that people must answer about their identity, and then if they don't pass that, then they will be required to upload additional documents. But we do have an investment manager. They are called Vestwell State Savings, and so they're the ones who are actually like running the website. With the state of California, you know, we hire out because we don't have the technical resources to do that. And so we have Vestwell State Savings, and so they have a fraud team, a security team, who makes sure everything is looking good and is following state and federal regulations. I don't know those details exactly, but we do have a fraud team who makes sure that there's not fraud, but of course, there may be some who slip through the cracks.
So also for people, for example, who are receiving Section 8 support for rent, and they also receiving SSI. I know when, for example, yearly recertification with housing authority, the housing authority requiring a lots of assets to be listed in that recertification package, including if you have Bitcoins, IRA account, etc., etc. What about this callable account?
Mm-hmm. We would recommend letting them know. The total amount in a CalAble account is exempt from Section 8 HUD benefits programs, but we would recommend if they are asking for your assets to let them know.
That exemption listed somewhere in the rules and policies? Because even if you're saying it's exempt, some authority might, you know, say, no, it's not.
Yes. So we do have letters directly from Section 8 or from HUD, as well as Social Security, Medi-Cal, and those are on our website under the resources tab on the website. You can also email us, and we would be happy to provide you copies of those letters. And those are from the agencies themselves. So that's not CalAble telling them what to do. It's them telling themselves what to do.
So, okay, thank you very much.
I have two more questions. Is that cool? Okay. Gordon and Clark.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, in answer to Commissioner Royale's question, it says Social Security number or tax identification number, and that's a workaround if somebody cannot obtain a Social Security number validly issued because their presence in the United States is unlawful. So they go with the tax ID number, and it's not enforced, just so you know. And then I was just curious about something. You said that somebody who works for the state of California has autism? Oh, okay, and they work in what capacity? I'm just curious.
Yes. So our executive director at CalAble, he is an individual with autism. Yes.
Oh, okay. CalAble. So he works. Oh, I see. He works. So he gets SSI and he works for the state of Cal.
No, he does not get SSI. He makes too much money, but as much as you can make at the state. Suppose.
Well, the state of California pays quite well.
Yes. So he does not receive SSI or SSDI. He's not receiving benefits.
Oh, I see. But then I thought you said because he is disabled before the age of 46, you said he could get over 500,000 or something? He qualifies.
So he would be able to save up to the maximum contribution limit of 529,000.
But that's if you're on SSI though, right?
So for SSI, the limit for the account is $100,000. So there's three different limits to keep in mind. There's the annual contribution limit. So that's $20,000 for this year. That's how much you can put into the account this year. If you're receiving SSI, you can have up to $100,000 in the CalAble account without it impacting the SSI $2,000 limit. And then if you're not receiving SSI, you can have up to $529,000 in the CalAble account.
Oh, not receive. Okay. So he qualifies for a CalAble account.
Yes.
Well, I mean, how's that different than just regular CalPERS retirement system if he works for the state of California?
Yeah, so CalAble can be a great supplement to a retirement account because you can take the money out at any time. So you don't have to wait till you're a certain retirement age.
Okay.
Commissioner Clark?
Do you recommend, or does the state recommend, like, even people that are receiving SSI or SSDI self-certify instead? Because Social Security likes to kick people off of benefits. And so then they're no longer eligible under that. I mean, is that a safe bet for them in case they get kicked off, but
I think it would be fine for them to still do the SSI and SSDI. It's more about the verification process. So Social Security already verified that their disability is eligible, essentially. So they may be not eligible through SSI for like income reasons, but because SSI already verified them for disability, that would still be fine. So I think either way, it's fine.
is the self-certification annually or just the one time to open the account?
It's just the one time to open the account.
Okay. All right, thanks.
All right, I just want to thank you again. This is super important, and we love that we have a recording on the Santa Monica website, and I'm hoping the city watches this and knows to get the word out, and I'm hoping we can help you connect with more people within our city to make them aware of a resource to save money for those expenses related to disability that aren't accounted for in traditional investment systems. So just want to thank you so much for coming out here, and we want to continue the relationship and the partnership moving forward. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, and I will be at the Abilities Expo, and we will have promo codes there. So
Thank you, thank you.
yes, and yeah, I'll leave the materials.
Yeah, they moved it to Long Beach though.
Oh, it's Long Beach?
Yeah, it's usually at only for this year. All right, we did some agenda management. We started off with 3A, so we're going to go back to number 1, public input on non-agenda items. Do we have any public comments for number 1?
So we have some written public comments. You
Okay.
have it in your pack.
Okay.
There were 2 submitted. The first is from Input Matters, no specific name given, and the second is from Francine Linus.
Should I read it or just give kind of a summary or?
I think it's best to summarize if you like.
Okay, we received a public comment from Input Matters at protonmail.com. It also CC'd some other folks. It's related to the continuum of care housing assistance as reflected in the city's public housing agency annual plan. This same written comment that's posted publicly and we have right here was also submitted to the Housing Commission and other city entities. What is discussed in the, this feedback, sorry. What's discussed in this email are issues related to disability access, non-discriminatory program administration, and other issues affecting housing for people with disabilities. And it's a pretty robust letter, so please take a look at it. And what the letter is hoping is that we discuss it at March's meeting, some of the things in this letter, because there is something going on March 26th that this plan is going to be considered by City Council and the Housing Authority Board. So if we agendize this, we could discuss it more robustly and figure out what we want to do. I think that's about as high level a summary. I'm going to review this and we'll consider putting it on next month's agenda so we can talk about it as a commission and maybe come out with a formal recommendation. So we'll talk about that when we're forming the agenda. And thank you for that comment. Appreciate it. The next person we received a comment from is from Francine Linus. The subject is disability parking rates increase. Please look into the matter why City Council increased parking at the beaches with the blue placard. Less disabled people will be at the beaches this summer. Fixed incomes severely inhibit people's lives. The City Council belief is if they increase parking fees, there will be less fraud in parking and more handicapped spots. What nonsensical thinking. Thank you for your support and response. Fran Linus. And this is, we appreciate your comment. We had a pretty robust discussion, and I think we shared some things that you shared as well, but this will be a continuing topic that we'll discuss, and thank you for your comment. Did I cover all the public?
You did cover all the public. Nobody in person has submitted any ticket to speak on this item.
Okay. And again, thanks, and we welcome feedback from the community. Thank you for emailing us. I'm going to move on to item 2 on the agenda, public input, agenda items under special agenda items and consent calendar only. Do we have anything?
Nothing has been submitted, no.
Okay, all right, we did some agenda management, so I'm going to go to 3B. I just shared a lot of resources this month. I'll give a very high level. They're topical, but man, this feedback. Is that better? Is that better? Okay. So 3BI, it's DHCS, which is the state healthcare agency, just put out some plans around how to address HR1, the big bill that's going to impact Medicaid, and it's already some of the provisions are starting to be implemented, and this is of particular concern to people with disabilities, and I just want the community to be one click away from what the state's plans are to address some of the things. One piece of it is more renewals, so going from annual to a more frequent cadence, and how the state is going to address that as one example. But this is just something we should be monitoring closely and that the community should be aware of, so I just wanted to share that. 3B2, this is a callback or a follow-up on a presentation we had a couple months ago, but the Santa Monica MO program has expanded its hours, like we talked about at that meeting. Now it goes till 6 p.m. and it's back available on Sunday, and that's been implemented. So there's more hours and days for the MO program, and we look forward to talking to them again. 3B3, this is related, a follow-up resource related to our discussion with the Chief Information Officer. And what I wanted to do is, are there wheels out there with good insights about how to address the ADA Title II rules related to web accessibility and accessibility of digital spaces, mobile applications. And this is a good resource. These are state and county entities across the state sharing kind of best practices on how they're addressing this. So I thought this might be helpful just as a resource. And particularly they have a report on how they're addressing these accessibility guidelines. So it might be helpful, just free resources. So just want to share that. 3B4, I've gotten over my time here and via email, just, there's people in the disability community that want to get more engaged and hope that we get a better virtual platform and reach out. And there was someone who reached out over the last month, so I wanted to respond with just, I know Berkeley, the city of Berkeley is doing a good job of having hybrid meetings and policies and procedures, so I wanted to share their manual and point out Appendix H, that's their component around the ADA. I think it's just a good document that maybe we can leverage or build upon or inform what we do after Senate Bill 707 is completely implemented. So this might be a good resource to look at as the city continues to build out their policies. 3B5, Another thing people reach out to me or talk to me about is just resources for small businesses. So my ADA network had some great resources used in other cities across the state of California, Pasadena, LA. We have one on our website as well, but I think there's some really good resources that I shared here on how businesses can be more accessible, which is Title III of the ADA. And also the state has a good resource under their Business Connect. California Commission on Disability Access has great resources around buildings, anything you can think of. So just wanted to share that for our small businesses, some helpful resources. And then finally, I think that's all I have in this. A lot of people, the digital accessibility piece, just questions about how do we make accessible documents, et cetera. And there's a great YouTube channel that some accessibility professionals keep sharing my way. So a community, this is a public health effort. This involves everybody, not just the government. Everybody needs to get some resources on how to make accessible files. So I know a lot of people like YouTube, and I just wanted to share this. Makes creating accessible digital content has a good way to share that and teach people about it. Okay. I'm going to keep the agenda moving to our consent calendar. 5A, a review of our meeting minutes for December. You guys have a printout.
So nothing for January because.
No, we didn't have quorum. And so if anyone who was present after you take a minute to review it would like to make a motion to approve, please let me know.
December.
This is December. We would have done it in January, but we didn't have quorum.
Did we submit the AI letter?
No, that's on the agenda.
Is that right? There are people present?
We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and then we had 7. Commissioner Audio, let me try and lay it. Yeah, that looks accurate. 7 out of 10. And just generally, if you weren't at the meeting, you would generally abstain from a vote like this. But I don't know if there's any rules against it. But that's kind of, yeah. So, we have to do a roll call vote.
We do, but I can do that. I can do that part.
Okay.
So a motion to approve the minutes?
I second.
Okay, one moment. Okay, so this is a little different. I'm going to go down the line and we're going to say either aye or nay. Commissioner Adeyemi is not present. Commissioner Antonini is not present. Commissioner Osoria?
I think you can vote aye, right? Even if you weren't here.
I just need to get everybody on mic when they do make that comment. Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Kuzmeadaj is not present. Commissioner Nguyen asked if she could give her vote or if she had to abstain. And I think you can do either. If you have had a chance to review the minutes, you could vote.
Sorry, I still don't understand. I thought I heard that I'm supposed to abstain because I wasn't at the previous meeting.
That is your choice if you'd like to. I mean, we provided the minutes and the video is available, so it's up to you if you'd like to abstain or if you'd like to vote, yes or no.
I'll abstain.
Thank you. Commissioner Royale? Aye. And Vice Chair Rackfelt?
Aye.
Chair Elliott?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
What about me?
Did I not do, I'm sorry, Commissioner Gordon?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes.
Awesome. I didn't mean to preempt. We do have copies. You can aye or abstain. Okay, I'm going to move to 6, public input on remaining agenda items. Do we have anything?
We do not have any requests.
Okay, I'm going to move to 9A, reports from ad hoc committees and liaisons and discussion and possible action on reestablishing and or establishing additional ones. Okay, hold on. There was one I was going to do real quick. I'm going to jump to I-9A6, discussion and possible action on sunsetting the 25-26 annual work plan completion ad hoc. We already completed that intern and everything. We just haven't done the formality. So I'm going to move to sunset that ad hoc.
I'll second.
Okay, here's the vote. Commissioner Adeyemi is not present. Commissioner Antonini is not present. Commissioner Asaria?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Gordon?
Aye.
Commissioner Cosmea Dodge is not present. Commissioner Wynn?
Aye.
Commissioner Royale? Aye. Vice Chair Rackfelt?
Aye.
And Chair Elliott?
Aye.
Okay, that's 7 votes. That motion passes.
Awesome, thanks. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the top. Thanks for letting me rearrange things. 9AI, this is the ad hoc committee on AI opportunities and risks. You have a copy of the letter. It's pretty much verbatim the last one. I just changed the date. There's one change I'd like to propose just on number 3. I'd like to change the date to the date of our July meeting. It currently reads July 10th, but I would like to update it to July 8th. I think that would be a better day for that public hearing.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the AI letter with the change of July 8th. And also, thank you so much for all your work and effort in doing this.
I second.
Okay. Here is a vote. Commissioner Adeyemi is not present. Commissioner Antonini is not present. Commissioner Osaria?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Gordon?
Thank you for your work too. That's great. Aye.
Commissioner Cosmea Dodge is not present. Commissioner Wynn?
Aye.
Commissioner Royale?
Aye.
Vice Chair Rackfelt?
Aye.
And Chair Elliott?
Aye.
Okay, that's 7 votes. That motion passes.
Do you want me to resend it to you, or can you make the change?
I can make the change.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And just to close out this item, there's just more resources because we had one more shot at this open. Should I move to sunset it, or should we wait? Do I have to agendize that?
I believe it's on the agenda to sunset that as well. So it's part 2.
Okay, I'm gonna move to sunset this ad hoc. It's been open quite a while, and we just approved the deliverable. Can I get a second?
All right, here's the vote. Commissioner Adeyemi is not present. Commissioner Antonini is not present. Commissioner Asaria?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Gordon?
Aye.
Commissioner Cosmea Dodge is not present. Commissioner Wynn?
Aye.
Commissioner Royale? Vice Chair Rackfelt?
Aye.
And Chair Elliott?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, I'm going to move to 9A2, update from the Housing Commission, Planning Commission, and Architectural Review Board meetings. Commissioner Gordon.
Well, I am pleased to announce that we were told that they us, merge all these commissions. And I'm pleased to announce that City Council voted to keep us independent. So that's really good. That's a good thing. Chair Elliott and I showed up to the meeting. I did invite them to appear to the next meeting that we had, and they, of course, didn't show up. But at least we got somewhere with that. There have been some things with the Housing Commission. We have been getting somewhere as far as ensuring that BMH, which is below market housing, and other priority lists aren't violated. There's a certain lobbying group in the city of Santa Monica, the hotel workers, that want to jump over everybody else, including disabled people, to be given preferential treatment for below market housing because they work 25 hours a week in Santa Monica, that they have to commute. So we got somewhere as far as seeing to it that they don't do that below market housing would go to seniors and disabled folks, which is the preference list of what's going on that has been established through below market housing. So that's a good thing. We got verification of that from for crying out loud. His name's Korematsu, right? The person Korematsu who showed up to the Housing Commission meeting?
Komasu.
I'm terribly sorry. Komasu. So he's one of the top guys there at the Housing Authority to ensure that the disabled people aren't pushed aside. So we are making some progress. I went to the Architectural Review Board, our meeting, and there's yet more monstrosities that are getting approved with actually no, they're not required to do a percentage of affordable housing, let alone BMH housing, but then also no ADA units whatsoever. And then again, they're approving, there's no guarantee that the elevators are going to be, they have to be ADA, outfitted. And I think that then there's just also, they have this other thing where there's just going to be one fire exit with one stairwell. So, and these are huge, I mean, we're talking 16, 18 stories that are going up all over town, and with no parking. Some of them don't have any parking. So that's just pretty much what's going on with that. Went to the Landmarks Commission. Landmarks Commission actually was canceled. I take that back. Anyways, that's pretty much what's going on with the other meetings.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your update. I'm going to move it to 9A3. Report from Santa Monica Website Quality Assurance Review Ad Hoc. Commissioners, Vice Chair Royale and Azaria. Or is this right?
So the top portion is right. Antonini, Asaria, Royale, and Rackfell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I think there's no update right now. We did have the CIO come, and it seemed like they're trying to do some integration first before moving on to changing the sort of content of the site. At least that's how I read that meeting, which was December?
Yes, December 10th.
So no updates from myself right now.
I did send them some follow-up resources just on best practices for creating accessible content and also some assistive technologies, which I shared during the meeting, the adaptive hub and adaptive accessories, which, makes computers and computing devices more accessible to people with disabilities. It allows you to plug in your assistive devices through a 3.5 millimeter cable or Bluetooth, and we demoed it during the meeting. But we just want to open up public entity computing platforms to everybody. And I shared some specifics, and I've shared it in the past. So I just want to get this on the record that there's stuff out there that's affordable. We've priced out. They're aware of it, and we'll just keep on moving forward. We'll make everything's going to be more accessible. That's what we're working on. Okay, thanks. And I think, once we get over this April thing too, I think there'll be some more momentum around it. Okay, I'm gonna move on to 9.4, discussion and possible actions on creating new ad hocs. I do want to create a new ad hoc for planning the July 8th public hearing. So I'd like to move to establish that ad hoc, and that would be a group to work on. And just some ideas is it's during July, which is a big month for people with disabilities, Disability Awareness Month. And last year we established where we went to council, we presented, we did the proclamation. So I think this is good timing for our first public hearing. And I think a piece of the public hearing should be some sort of accessibility ADA 101 should be a piece. So that's the purpose of this ad hoc, is to flesh out the entire agenda, but definitely an ADA 101 piece and Disability Awareness Month piece. But we'll get into that. But does anyone want to join me on this ad hoc? And we'll bring it up again next month because not everyone's here, but I do want to get that going because time's ticking. Commissioner Azaria and then Commissioner Clark.
I'd like to join the ad hoc.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I can give other people the opportunity, but I'll join it if.
Awesome.
You know, you have it scheduled for July 8th. That is right around 4th of July. I'm just wondering if that's going to be the best week to do it. Something to consider.
I was thinking it was July 8th as our scheduled regular meeting. And it's during Disability Awareness Month, which we kind of established a precedent last year, and I thought I want to build on that momentum. And also the SB 707 will be pretty much fully implemented July 1, so it'll be more hybrid than ever. And I say that because I've spoke to some folks across the state around SB 707, and July 1 is like when a lot of it kicks in. So I'm hoping that'll also give us more opportunity to get people involved virtually, hybrid, if it's tougher to get in person, and just be a good kind of pilot. Because we haven't done this in a while. We want to start doing it, do it with the SB 707, the ADA accessibility rules, and get some momentum going and do it right moving forward. So that's kind of my rationale around July, but there's never going to be a perfect date. But I just think this date is better than June.
So the ad hoc is to really just get around the full planning of the public hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll certainly join.
So I say let's, we have 4, let's start there and let's open it up next meeting as well. What's the max, 5?
Yes, the max is 5. And before we establish that, we have to have a motion and a second, and then we'll have to vote to establish that.
So I jumped the gun. So
Okay.
So let's do a roll call vote.
So we have your motion, and did we have a second to create?
Can I get a second to establish the ad hoc for the public hearing?
Thank you. I'll take the vote. Commissioner Adeyemi is not present. Commissioner Antonini is not present. Commissioner Saria.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Gordon. Aye. Commissioner Kuzma-Dodge is not present. Commissioner Nguyen.
Aye.
Commissioner Royale. Aye. Vice Chair Rackfeld.
Aye.
And Chair Elliott.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carried.
And do we have to vote every member we add? No. Okay.
So at future meetings, we'll have to, we won't have to vote, no. We can add a member, but we have to vote in order to establish and sunset an ad hoc.
So we established that, thanks. And then if you could join in the queue if you wanted to join. I think we have to, so we had our Commissioner Royale.
I just like to say I might join later. So it's kind of like July, it's far away from now, so I cannot guarantee. So, but I would like to participate.
All right.
So,
So maybe think about it over the next month or so.
yeah, I mean, I will try my best to help you guys. So, but
And the ad hoc will discuss it during the meeting. So if you don't want to be as involved, like we'll probably meet between meetings like we have in the past. We do virtual meetings and track change documents and kind of plan,
sure.
but we bring that back to the group. So that's also an opportunity. The subcommittee will do some of the legwork, but it's also, we're all working on this. This subcommittee's just give it a little catalyst. All right, other folks who wanted to join, if you could do it on the record, I guess.
Love to join.
Commissioner Clark,
I'll join.
Commissioner Azaria, I believe. All right, Kim, did you press the Q button? Okay. And you'd like to join?
Yes, aye.
So we have Vice Chair Clark, Azaria, and Elliott to start, and we'll, this will be an ongoing thing until July. So
It's a big deal.
that's our North Star, but again, life happens, things happen, but our North Star is July 8th, public hearing, and we'll figure out between now and then how we get there.
Do we have a July march? July 4th?
Good. Are we doing that again?
The parade does happen every year.
Main Street.
We'll have to look into, I'm not entirely sure about the details for that, but,
Okay,
and what the process goes into it.
keep us posted if you hear anything about that's something we might want to be a participant in. Okay, awesome. And then just one more comment on 4 is starting July 1, there's some changes to commissions. I think there's going to be, the consolidation, so we may want to, I think it's going to be called the Housing and Human Services.
Yeah.
So-
But not us.
No, it's going to be Disability Commission stays and housing and other ones are consolidating into this one. So I think we when that's established, we're going to want to have a liaison to that. But I don't want to get ahead of us, just put it on your radar. If after July 1, that's something you're interested in, we definitely want to have a liaison to that new commission that's being established. Because we need disability perspective in housing and human services, for sure. So just want to put that on the radar.
No.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. I spoke with Chair Gordon at the Housing Commission. We're still not sure what the House and Human Services Commission is. I don't recall them ever having a meeting or anything like that. So we're trying to figure that out.
Sorry, I can jump in. Are you referencing the Human Services Commission?
Yes.
So that's an established commission. They meet 4 times a year right now.
Oh.
The second Wednesday quarterly. So
So it's not monthly.
it's not monthly. The hope is if this is passed, that is going to be a monthly meeting along with the housing. This new entity is going to be a monthly meeting.
Because
Consistent.
I don't even recall a notification like in my personal email that they had meetings, even if they're quarterly. So, but okay.
Okay. And then we have 9A5, discussion and possible action on establishing liaisons for Santa Monica boards and commissions. I apologize. Did we establish one for the Parks and Rec last meeting, or were you still thinking about that? I don't want to put you on the spot.
I think I wondered if I'm supposed to email them or have a point person? I don't remember what the answer was, if I'm supposed to just show up or if I'm supposed to email somebody there before I do that. But no, I didn't go to the meeting, so I don't have anything to report, but
I'll shoot you an email with their, like, just where their agenda is and who the chair is.
okay.
And then that could help facilitate
Okay.
communication. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna move to 9A5, discussion and possible action on establishing liaisons for Santa Monica boards and commissions. I think I actually was talking about this last item, just move, after July, we want to establish some new ones and just open it up to all the commissioners. If there's something of interest, let us know, and we'd love to have you be a liaison, because every single commission has a disability piece, 100%. So, but we have limited capacity. But if there's something that's calling you, let us know. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to move to agenda item 13, Disability Commission member discussion items, 13A, future agenda planning. So I know we have two things. Next month, I believe we still have Lindsay Call, who's going to speak around emergency services, disaster relief for people with disabilities and accessibility and functionalities. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. Yeah, if you like, I can do a rundown of what we have talked about. Sounds good. So for March, just what you talked about, disaster preparedness discussion with Santa Monica's Chief Resilience Officer. For April, we have invited ADA Coordinator Blake Stavros back. We would, of course, this is up for discussion, but we'd also like to get the new Housing and Human Services Director invited to the commission, and perhaps that is a good meeting to do that with Blake, excuse me. I'll follow up on availabilities for that. We'll work with that. For May, we had Mental Health Awareness Month. We were considering if we should invite a special guest for that. We can kind of brainstorm on who that might be. Yeah. For June, we had discussed an annual public hearing. Sounds like we're moving that to July 8th. And of course, that's Disability Awareness Month in July. So that's what we have right now.
So I think we need to think about June, and maybe just quickly we could think about who could be someone good for within the city for May's Mental Health Month, and then ideas for June, because that seems pretty open. Vice Chair? No. Sorry, Commissioner Clark?
I think for May, maybe somebody from the police department who runs the mental health outreach unit to respond to crises. That was just an idea.
I think, is it the HOP, Homeless Liaison Police, or is there like someone that maybe works closely with a legal entity provider or DMH or something we could bring in?
Or we'll look into it, yeah.
Awesome, great idea. And is it possible, I know getting to Santa Monica on a Wednesday night might be tough. Can we open it up to potential speakers virtually? Is that available yet?
That's a good question.
Okay.
We'll have to investigate.
Okay. I just want to throw it out there because that would open the pool of people that are available for May, I believe.
Yeah, I'll get an answer for you.
All right, thank you. Any ideas for May's Mental Health Month? There's obviously, I think there's St. Joseph Center and the People Concerned, maybe someone from there.
Yeah. Does that call for a second, or?
No, we're just throwing out ideas on who to reach out to for May's Mental Health Month themed May meeting. Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, because I think Step Up's been really great about appearing before us.
Yeah.
And that's really good. And then we did have, it's interesting because Community Corps, and I'm glad that you brought that up, actually did, and I have her business card, and I'd like to say it for the record. She showed up to Housing Commission, and Community Corps had quite a few of their buildings. Most of them, they're all pretty much voucher, Section 8, so they do there's quite a few people who have mental diagnoses, and maybe that would be great to consider having her. And her name is, in fact, I thought that Thomas, yeah, he was at the house. It's Tara Bara, Barauskas.
Okay.
She's executive director. Who? She's lead
She is the head of that.
of community court.
Yeah.
Yeah, executive.
Let's
yeah.
have her here. Let's have her.
Yeah, so she gave quite a good presentation at the Housing Commission. I'm glad that you brought that up. I didn't think to mention that. And then, yeah, let's see if, it would be nice if maybe People Concern makes an appearance. I kind of doubt that. But Step Up's been very receptive. Community Core. And also if we could think also about having the lawyer, Kevin Mitchell, back from LAFLA. I think that would be a good idea. And then I'd also like to mention maybe somebody from the city attorney's office, deputy city attorney. I happen to really like Jonathan Irwin Frank or somebody from the city attorney's office.
Yeah, I'm hearing kind of a lot of housing themes. Maybe June could be a housing theme. I'm hearing community core, maybe city attorney, but from a housing perspective.
There's a Romy Gadshaw, I believe her name is, and I actually met her. She's way high up in there. And then also number 2 for housing, I know kind of not personally, but we've interacted, is Natalie Verlinich. Would be, she shows up to housing commission meetings, and I think that would be great.
And also, a few months ago, the rent control board folks reached out. So maybe a housing theme for June. That would be a good segue to July too. Just if we had a lay of the land of what housing resources, technical assistance, and legal resources are out there for people with disabilities. That might be a good segue into our public hearing. So that's a good idea for. What do other folks think about maybe a housing focused June? Commissioner Azaria?
I was wondering, what does city do for Mental Health Awareness Month? Like, can we collaborate with city and see what they do?
Great question. I think with our liaison, we're trying to identify who from the city would be a good representative. So one idea was someone, possibly with police department, mental health type program. But if you have ideas about additional people, please send them our way so we'd like a city representative as part of May. We're just trying to figure out what's the best fit or what the community wants. We're in the brainstorming phase, but great question. No, this is good. So we had 2 kind of gaps, 2-month gaps. I think we have themes and ideas for them. So I think let's continue to flush those out over the next months. And again, you guys can email me if sometimes ideas don't come here. Send me an email or whatever, and I'll work with our liaison and our chair and our committees and stuff to move stuff forward. I'm always open to ideas, especially on anything. Okay. I'm going to move to adjourn the meeting. Thanks. We took care of a lot of business today.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a second? Second. Do we have to? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.